Hi guys, and welcome to another English news lesson where I show you some of the main words in the news, some of the main stories that are happening now, and we also have a look at some of the key vocabulary and grammar structures in order to help you understand English in the news better. So let's go straight to the articles today. Now, the first one obviously is related to the Kim Kardashian robbery in Paris. And as you may or not know, Kim Kardashian was robbed at gunpoint in Paris, and she had a whole lot of jewelry stolen by bold thieves. Now, we'll have a look at the article here. Okay, so we can see here the main headline: Kim Kardashian gunpoint robbery sparks manhunt in Paris. Now, the key words here: gunpoint robbery. Okay, so gunpoint robbery, a robbery at gunpoint, and it sparks a manhunt in Paris. So the robbery sparks a manhunt, and what this means is that the robbery causes a manhunt. So the word sparks, let's have a look at the definition here. Okay, spark, to cause the start of something. Okay, so back to the headline: Kim Kardashian gunpoint robbery sparks manhunt in Paris. So it caused a manhunt in Paris. Now, a manhunt where the police look for suspects of a crime. We use the word manhunt. It's not one of these words that's changed because of political correctness. We still use the word manhunt, okay? And as I said, it means to search for somebody, normally criminals, after they have committed a robbery. So the gunpoint robbery sparks manhunt in Paris. The next one here. So the next one here: audacious theft of 10 million euros of jewels from a reality TV star's exclusive hotel prompts political row over policing in French capital. Now let's have a look at the key words here. The first one is audacious. Audacious is bold, risky, okay? Audacious in this sense. Let's have a look at the definition. And we'll see here: showing a willingness to take surprisingly bold risks. So a risky theft, risky theft. Theft, the same as robbery. When somebody steals something from you, it's called a theft. 10 million euros of jewels. The pronunciation of this word here, jewels, jewels, okay? It's the same as jewel, meaning two, jewel. From reality TV star's exclusive hotel prompts political row. Now, prompt, to prompt, again, it's the cause, okay? It's the cause of the political row, okay? Be careful with the pronunciation. Row, meaning argument, okay? That word can also mean row. So for example, if you row your boat. But here the word is row, and it means argument over policing in French capital. Policing in French capital. So what the police do is that they police. Okay, it's a verb, to police. The police police the capital. All right. The next one: French police have launched a major manhunt after masked robbers put a gun to the head of the American reality television star Kim Kardashian West and stole an estimated 10 million euros, 8.7 million pounds, worth of jewels from her luxury apartment. Okay, so the police have launched a major manhunt. They've begun a major manhunt after masked robbers with masks on their faces, put a gun to the head of American reality television star Kim Kardashian West and stole an estimated 10 million worth of jewels. Okay, so here you steal something from somebody. You steal something from somebody. It's a dependent preposition. 5 men disguised as police officers. Okay, so this paragraph here. So 5 men disguised as police officers. So you disguise yourself as somebody. So they were disguised as police officers, forced their way into the discreet Hotel des Portelays in Paris's upmarket 8th district or area where the star was staying in the early hours of Monday. Okay, so again, as we said here, you disguise yourself as somebody, meaning that you dress up as, or you disguise yourself as. They forced their way into the hotel. Again, dependent prepositions, you force your way into something. Where the star was staying in the early hours of Monday. The early hours of Monday, 1, 2, 3 a.m. Monday morning, okay? Two of the robbers, who were wearing police-branded armbands, reportedly tied up Kardashian West, who was in the French capital for Paris Fashion Week, and locked her in the bathroom while they ransacked the flat. So, two of the robbers, comma, this is the non-defining relative clause, who were wearing police-branded armbands. It's giving extra information. So just telling us that they were wearing these armbands. An armband is something that you wear on your arm. So obviously they were wearing an armband with a police symbol. Reportedly tied, okay, it's what people have said, reportedly tied up Kardashian West. Again, non-defining relative clause, who was in the French capital for Paris Fashion Week and locked her in the bathroom while they ransacked the flat. So this word here, to ransack. So imagine if somebody breaks into your home and pulls out all of your things and throws them all over the place and perhaps breaks plates and breaks glasses. That is to ransack. We'll have a quick look at the definition. To go hurriedly through a place, stealing things and causing damage. Burglars ransacked her home. So they ransacked the flat, ransack. The star's publicist said although Kardashian West was not beaten, so she wasn't physically hit or hurt, the men had held a gun to her head, leaving her badly shaken but physically unharmed. Okay, so she wasn't physically beaten. They just put the gun to her head, but they left her physically shaken. Shaken means that she was very upset. She was shaken by the event. After giving a statement to police about her ordeal, Kardashian West, 35, her age, was immediately taken to a waiting private jet at the small Le Bourget airport on the outskirts of Paris to be flown back to the US. So after giving a statement, okay, after giving a statement. So the preposition here, after giving, ing, okay, so we can start a sentence like this. So after giving a statement to police about her ordeal, Kardashian West was immediately taken to a waiting private jet at the airport on the outskirts of Paris. So you're in the center of a city or you're on the outskirts. So the city has limits and it's on the outskirts of the city, all right, on the outskirts of the city. To be flown back to the US, passive tense here, to be flown back to the US. Okay, so this paragraph here, Kardashian West, who is married to the American rapper Kanye West, with whom she has 2 children, was attacked just before 3 a.m. shortly after she had returned from dinner. Earlier on Sunday, she had been photographed at the Balenciaga and Givenchy fashion shows. So Kardashian West, who is married, again a non-defining relative clause, to the American rapper Kanye West, with whom she has 2 children. So the object pronoun here, whom, with whom she has 2 children, because Kardashian West the subject, Kanye West the object, with whom she has 2 children. So that's the story about Kim Kardashian West, who was robbed at gunpoint and had all of that money stolen. Obviously, it's dangerous being rich and famous, especially when thieves know exactly where you're going to be at any given moment, and therefore you become an easy target. But nevertheless, nobody should be robbed in any way, shape or form ever. So that's that article. Now we'll move on to the next one, and we'll go to Canada for the next one. And we can see that Canada closes loophole. We'll just highlight this. Canada closes tax loophole to cool down overheated housing markets. So Canada closes tax loophole. Tax loophole. Let's have a look at the definition here of tax loophole. Now, a tax loophole is where there's some type of irregularity in the law, okay? So we can see here an ambiguity or inadequacy in the law or a set of rules. For example, they exploited tax loopholes. So what they mean is that because of this loophole in the law, people have been able to exploit the Canadian housing market. So they're trying to get it to cool down, to not be so hot, and again, to cool down the overheated housing market. So when a housing market gets overheated, it means that the price of houses increases too quickly or faster than it really should. And Canada has this problem at the moment in 2 of its major cities. So the first one, Finance Minister outlines measures to rein in foreign speculators. Okay, to rein in. So to rein in means to control, and foreign speculators. So people from outside Canada, foreigners, are investing their money in the Canadian property market, causing it to overheat because of this tax loophole. House prices in Vancouver and Toronto have doubled in the last decade. So prices have doubled. Foreign speculators coming into the market, buying property, causing the prices to double, meaning that normal Canadians obviously have trouble to buy houses to get into the property market. So let's have a look at the main article. The Canadian government has announced a handful of measures aimed at dampening demand on its red-hot housing markets, including closing a tax loophole used by some foreign speculators. So there we go. So the government has announced a handful of measures, a handful, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a small amount of measures aimed at, okay, dependent preposition, aimed at dampening, ing after the preposition, aimed at dampening. So they're trying to dampen the demand to make it less attractive, let's say, in the red-hot housing market, red-hot, extremely hot housing markets, including closing a tax loophole used by some foreign speculators. Canadian authorities are facing growing pressure to address frothy housing markets in Vancouver and Toronto, where home prices have more than doubled in the past decade. Earlier this year, Justin Trudeau, Canada's Prime Minister, pointed to an influx of capital from Asia as partly responsible for the soaring prices. So the Canadian authorities, they're facing growing pressure to address a frothy housing market. Okay, so if you address something, it means to give attention or deal with a matter or problem, okay, deal with. And the other thing we need to look at here is the frothy. So the frothy housing market, and frothy is a business term meaning where assets are beginning to rise above the real market prices. So there's a frothy housing market in Vancouver and Toronto where prices have more than doubled in the past decade. Okay, pointed to an influx of capital from Asia, an influx of capital, meaning that there's money coming in very quickly to Canada, okay, and as partly responsible for the soaring prices. Soaring, meaning that the prices are going up very, very quickly, soaring prices. Overall, I believe the housing market is sound. Bill Morneau, the country's finance minister, said on Monday, I want to make sure that we're proactive in assessing and addressing the factors that could lead to excess risk. Overall, in general, okay, he believes that. He wants to make sure that we're proactive, meaning that they are not reactive, but proactive in assessing and addressing, we saw before the meaning, the factors that could lead to excess risk, okay? Excess risk. Now, this is obviously a problem in a lot of countries where housing markets become overheated. They cause a bubble. The country that I live in had a hugely overheated housing market and a huge bubble that popped and left the country with huge problems. Canada is trying to avoid that because remember that prices have doubled over the last decade, so they're trying to deal with the problem. And as I said, in order for Canadians to be able to buy houses, which is the dream of a lot of families. Now that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching this news lesson. If you have any questions or comments about any of the topics we talked about today, please leave them in the section below. Remember to share the video if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye.